to Booking the Wrestler AEW Edition number 2. Now, I have no idea if anyone's even liked the first one I did, booking Hiro Kushida and the Selena Deeps, the incredible yoga teacher. I don't know. This is being done about 2 days before I'm about to release the first episode. And I decided, after I made it, why not do some Booking the Wrestlers for AEW? Because last year I did Booking the Wrestler for Impact. So why not do AEW? And I don't know if I will do some more Impact episodes of Booking the Wrestler. I will continue from, I think it was episode 7 that I did of Booking the Wrestler. So I don't know. If I am going to do Impact again, I will be continuing from 7 on. Because I did do up to 7 episodes of Booking the Wrestler. So this is about Rio, the cute little piece of ass that everyone loves and adores. I am going to book her in a way that takes advantage of what she is as a Japanese wrestler and try to add a little bit of the American feel to it, which they're not doing. Understand, it don't make a difference which country you come from. You can bring in what you have, but it counts on the bookers. The bookers of the promotion to actually book you correctly. And AEW is not doing that. So I'm going to book her myself. Does not mean it's going to be great booking. I may just botch a lot of it and botch my words like I always do. If you have seen my channel for a couple of years, you know I botch my words while I do this. So get ready for a botch. Okay. This is how it's going to go. I am going to rewrite history for Rio. She is not going to be AEW champion within the first year of AEW. She's not. She's not going to be the first women's champion, but she will be part of the tournament that was created at the time. So here we go. Starting in 2019 into 20, Rio, just like all the other Japanese wrestlers, came to AEW. They worked dark, and before Elevation or Rampage was in existence, this is what you normally saw. Very little of her. And I'm going to continue that. At least until they started the tournament for the women's title. She showed up on Dynamite a couple of times, just like Hiro Kushida, just like every other woman that came from Japan. In her case, she did go through the qualifying matches. And she got through the first round and the second round of the qualifying, going into the semifinals where she got beat. Now, this is where things get a little different for her. While this is going on, she is considered a child. The commentators call her like a young child, not because she started at the age of 9, because she was, 22 at the time, 21, 22. In this situation, it's not about her just growing up as a wrestler starting at the age of 9. It's that they just see her as a child, period. They don't give her any respect, because it's not just because she's so small and dainty. It's because Rio acts like a young child. And they all make her feel like she's a young child. And unlike what was booked by Kenny Omega, this is how I book her. She goes for the tournament. She gets to the semifinals where she gets beaten. Now, by that time in 2019 to 2020, she is seen on television. She is getting segments like many of the women that is on AEW. I'm booking it this way. All of them are having their moments to talk and to show what makes them so special, what makes them who they are. But with Rio, due to the fact that she dresses very cutesy, very young, no one takes her seriously. Everyone considers her like a little kid, a little sister. Some of the adult wrestlers that she's like here, they pretty much see her as a little kid. Some of them actually say, "Hey, Rio." And by this point, she has learned some English, how to speak it. And she is talking with them, and they're giving her things that a little kid would like. And at first, she found it really amusing, because here in America, unlike in Japan, where they see her as an adult, she's getting the child treatment, which, being a wrestler, she even says it herself, I've been doing this since I was 9. I never really had a really good childhood because my passion for wrestling has been so great. I was passionate. I wanted to become a wrestler, and I had a hard life. You see the botch? There you go. But seeing and kind of see me as a little sister, like a little kid, is kind of cute. I'm kind of getting things I never really had as a kid back in Japan. And I'm kind of liking it. And for a little while, she does. But as time goes on, her matches begin to reflect how she's treated, because before, any of the cutesy stuff was done by the male wrestlers and some of the females. She was wrestling like a regular, average 22-year-old wrestler. Doesn't matter if she was 98 pounds, she was wrestling and they treated her as such. But as time went on, because she dressed cutesy in the back whenever she was interviewed or when she was around people or when she worked with them, they just began to see her as a little kid. And as time went on, especially in the ring, they didn't treat her like she was a full-grown adult anymore. They would pat her on the head when she did a good job. They would say, you're going to get hurt. And this is in English or in Japanese because she faced Rio. She faced several other people that are from Japan. What is he? Sama Kong, I believe her name. I forgot her name. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen the Awesome Kong equivalent over in Japan. But she is just being treated like a child. And by the middle of 2020, because this goes on from maybe October 2019 to about September 2020, almost near a year, she's getting frustrated now. She's not winning her matches due to the fact that she's getting very frustrated because the wrestlers are still treating her like a kid. And she's saying, hey, look, it's been nice. I actually did like it for a while, but please start treating me like an adult. I am 22 years old. They'd say, yeah, of course you are. A 12-year-old pretty much will think she's 22. And they say, I am 22. I am a woman. Well, you don't feel like it. And they keep doing this to her until she finally gets very frustrated. And in the middle of 2020, which is around September, she is really getting angry. But she does finally, at that point, 2 months after that, gets an opportunity to go for the well, now, how can I say this? At this point, because she has not been champion, and it was not Britt Baker, but it was, well, I could say it's Thunder Rosa at that point, but she is working NWA. I would say that is Nia Rose, because yes, Nia Rose is not good at that time. She's still very underdeveloped, but at that point, in September 2020, she did win the title. She was not the inaugural champion. She was not. Sonita Deeps, in this situation, would be the inaugural champion in the beginnings of 2020. That's where it pretty much was, because they stretched that tournament all the way into 2020, January and February. That's how I would book it. So Deeps lose to Nia Rose by September. She loses. So Nia Rose, at that time, between those 2 months, has become champion. And now, Rio, after having a year of being treated like a little kid, and is very frustrated at this time, did manage to win enough matches that she finally reached a point where she could face a Nia Rose. And at Full Gear, she gets her shot. And she loses. Badly. Not because she could not wrestle. It was because of her frustration. Because there were female wrestlers and a few males that were at ringside that were cheering for her. And whenever she fell out of the ring or being thrown out of the ring because of Nia Rose, everyone was saying, Rio, come on, kid, come on. And she's hearing them call her kid. And she slowly and surely begins to get frustrated and angry and angrier to the point where she is botching badly. She is losing her focus and messing up. And in the end, at the closing of Full Gear, just before the men's World Championship, she loses. She just basically gets slaughtered by Nia Rose. At that point, she is so angry and she didn't want to hear nothing from nobody. Because at this point, going into January 2021, because this was done around November. The last part of November is when Full Gear would be released, unlike now. She clearly was angry. And when people came up to her, she would yell at them. But they would still come to her because they love how cute she is. Well, one day, this is the middle of January 2021. Rio. She gets faced by Hirooki Shida. Hirooki is treating her like a little sister, and she is so angry she elbows her straight to her face. And this is when Shida has already got her 50 wins. This is a different storyline compared to the one I booked already. This is a totally different storyline. She did get her 50 wins, say about 2 weeks before, and she's proudly holding her plaque with her. Anytime she goes to the ring, she carries it with her. And she faces a Rio who is so angry after being treated like a child for so long, and she's talking to her like a child. She gets her right in the damn face. She's done with it. And then she takes a plaque and she breaks it. She literally grabs the plaque, throws it to the ground, and nearby is a crowbar because someone was working on it. She grabs it and started hammering it straight in the center of it, cracking it, and then eventually breaking the damn thing in half. Rio snaps. She's done. And Shida is very angry at her and tries to first calm down, because that happens on Rampage, not Dynamite. The next week of Rampage, Shida confronts her and say, "Why did you do that to my plaque? All I was doing was just talking to you." And she looked at her straight in her face. She grabbed her by her collar, pulled her down, because Shida and Rio, in actual real life, Shida is here. Rio is a little bit shorter than her. She literally pulls her down face to face in English, and by then she learns English, and clearly says, "I am sick of anyone that thinks I'm a child. I am almost 23 years old. You will give me my respect or I will take it from you." And she pulls away and say, "Oh, you're going to take it from me? Prove it in the ring. I will treat you like you say you want to be treated, like a real woman. Show me what you got." So they go to the ring, but the match does not happen because Tony does not allow it. He orders that there be a match the week next on Dynamite. It does not happen in Rampage because there was another scheduled match. So next week, they have their match on Dynamite. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. You see, once they have the match, yes, fans by that time have now returned. But several of the male and female wrestlers go down to the ring like they normally do. They won't be in the area where the fans are. They're standing outside watching and cheering Rio on. And Rio does not want it. She looks at them with disdain. But a few of them laughed at her because they thought it was cute that she looked angry. Because pouting, as Rio does, she looks cute. And she does not stand for it. And Rio, how she was acting in that match, was not the Rio that is determined, that is focused, that is willing to do it, willing to throw herself. No. Rio at this point is so angry, so frustrated, she is literally trying to hurt Shida. She chops her in the throat. Not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times, 4 straight times at 4 different points. She is not trying to pin her. She's not trying to submit her. She's trying to hurt her. Each time she gets chopped in the throat, she's having a hard time to breathe. And she is throwing her down in a headlock, but because Shida is much larger than her, much stronger than her, she manages to get out of it. But each time she chops her in the throat, and she's warned again and again, but she doesn't act quickly. Every time she chops her, she stands there in the ring, waits for her opponent, Shida, to begin to turn around because she's laying down on the mat, trying to gasp for air. Then she puts her into the headlock, not like this, getting the bone right in her face. Shida breaks breaks the hold, chop again. Eventually, you see Rio, after giving the fourth chop, doing the headlock. She doesn't care now. She now slips right under the throat, and she wrenches back. She's already damaged her windpipe already, so she finally decides after the fourth hit, and she gets released from it, she throws her down and then wrenches under the throat to choke her out. And she does. She literally chokes out Shida. Chokes her out illegally and loses the match. She does not care. She literally choked her out, and she is forced to release by the ref. She doesn't raise her hand. She doesn't care about raising her hand. She literally stands there over Shida. Everyone is surprised. A few of the other wrestlers, like Britt Baker, at this time is a face. She runs and jumps into the ring, shoves Rio back, and says, "What are you doing?" She is out. She just barely is breathing. They call for the trainers in the back, get her air, because her trachea has been somewhat crushed. She doesn't care. After that day, she completely changes her outfit. She's no longer wearing an outfit that is cutesy. She's wearing a one-piece pitch black. Think of Black Canary, with basically all black. Of course, Rio does not have the shape of a Black Canary, no matter who you are. Black Canary is like this. If you look at Justice League Unlimited, which I've been reviewing because I need to fix my Justice League Unlimited copies because they were messed up, you see a Black Canary, a blonde hair Black Canary. Birds of Prey is garbage. Not just because they use a black woman for Black Canary, which is the most stupidest thing. Black Canary should just stay the same, well, not gender, but pretty much race. If you're not going to write good for her, leave her in the same race. Changing her race does not mean it's going to make her better. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm just saying that. But she's wearing all black, one whole piece, tight black. Now, of course, Rio doesn't have the shape. She doesn't care. She is going to the ring now wearing all black. All tight pitch black. And her wrestling style completely has changed after about a month. The first match she has in all black, she's still wrestling like Rio. Really rough. But when she gets frustrated, she begins to become methodical and start attacking body parts very viciously. Either a knee, an arm, or the throat. And she does the same thing in about 2 of those 4 matches in that first month. Eventually, the original Rio style is gone, and she now has a methodical style that is now focusing on one body part at a time to completely annihilate it to the point where the person has to tap out, but she doesn't win the match. She literally, when she changed her style after the first month, 4 matches after that, all losses, because she refuses to follow the rules. After the tap out, she refuses to either let go of the hold on the knee, let go of the hold on the arm, or basically choking somebody out to the point where the ref has no choice but to award it to the other person. She does this for a month. After that, everyone is looking at her and saying, "What is wrong with you, little sister?" And when someone sees her on the second month, she's no longer wearing cutesy clothes when she's not in the ring because she's always wearing something cutesy. Even after she began this, going to the ring in all black does not mean she changed her style outside the ring. By the second month, she's now completely changed her clothing. That is all tight, and that in this case is black and red. She's now wearing black and red clothes, either tight dresses or semi-loose pants and shirt to be like a boy. She doesn't care anymore. She'll look at anyone right dead in their face, grab them, pull them to her height, because that's what she does now. She pulls people down to her height because most people are taller than Rio. Doesn't make a difference. She pulls them down and say, "Do you have a problem with a woman? You're looking at me, a woman. Know the damn difference. I'm not your sister. I'm not a kid. And she continues doing this until finally, when she faces Selena Deeps, who regains the AEW championship, because this is now 4 months later, she finally refined her new style not to get basically disqualified each time. She won enough matches to actually deal with Selena Deeps. And this is at All Out. She finally gets this shot. Now, she doesn't win the match. This is not about Rhea winning the match. Rhea wanted people to see her for who she was. A woman. And all the setup going into not full gear, but All Out, is her clearly stating to Selena Deeps and everyone else, I'm finally here at the championship. Guess what? It doesn't matter to me if I win or not. You will see me as a woman after this day. Because I am a woman. Show me the respect I deserve. Do not treat me like a child ever again. That's all she wanted. And when she goes into the match, which was really a damn good match, which she did do a mixture of styles of her new methodical style and the old Rio style. She was going back and forth. And weirdly enough, the fans begin to get behind her when they start seeing the old Rio begin to show herself, because she wanted to beat Deep so badly. She really wanted to prove herself as a woman that she can beat anyone, because she's got the talent, the desire of a woman, not a small child or a teenager. That is all she wanted, to be recognized. People started cheering for her again. People started adoring her while she's flipping back and forth between the methodical style and her high-paced style. But in the end, she doesn't win. She doesn't. But she comes so close that when it's over and she is beaten, and hearing people cheer makes her so angry that she begins to cry. Because she knew that she gave it everything to prove that she's a woman. Deeps looks at her, asks for Mike, and says, Rio. And she gets down on her knees with her. She says, Rio, you said today is the day you would know that you're a real woman. You proved it to me. You gave me one of the hardest fights I've ever had. And she's breathing heavy at this moment because it's about a couple of moments, about a minute after the match. I'm sorry. I can't speak for anyone else on the roster. No woman or man. But for me, from now on, I will see you for who you truly are. A woman at my level. You are equal to me. You've earned my respect and my admiration. I apologize. And she bows in front of her. And that's all she wanted. It's not just because she wants to prove herself as a woman that could be a champion. She wanted to prove as a woman, a person who wrestles, that she's not a little child. She's just as important, just as special, just as strong-willed as anyone else. And she gets what she wants. She does cry in the ring, which is nothing wrong. Look, guys, if you think because Rio cries in the ring doesn't make her weak, doesn't make her a child, any man or woman will cry in the ring. And in this case, she does. And she calms herself, wipes away her eyes, takes that mic from Selena Deeps and says this, thank you. She looks, gives her a hug, and she stands up and faces the crowd and says, I know that I have not acted myself. I know that I have been cruel and evil in some cases. But can you blame me? No one wanted to see me for who I was. I am a woman. And now finally I have my recognition. Please, I just ask you to recognize me for who I am. I am Rio, not the child, but the woman. And everyone applauds her. And they end All Out with her being applauded. This is how I will book her. Taking what is known by her in Japanese wrestling, because she is a cutesy girl, known as a 9-year-old who went through wrestling from that time till now. This is how we'll book her. As a child, being recognized as a child, and even taking a little bit of advantage of it, because she never really had that, because in Japanese wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling or All Japan or whatever she was doing, she was treated as an adult. After 13 years of hard work, she earned it in Japan, but she had to earn it here by growing as a woman, not as a child or just straight out wrestling. It takes more. But this is just how I booked her. And I hope you enjoyed this Booking the Wrestler AEW edition. Please give me a comment below if I can make one tomorrow, because there's some stuff I got to do right now. I will be doing Eddie Kingston. Say it again. I am booking Eddie Kingston. Peace.